Hello, everyone. My name is George Pittas. I'm sitting here for a very simple reason. You are supposed to be the ones who will communicate with an audience, correct? Well, when you want to communicate with an audience, broad audience, you need to be part of it. It's so simple. You need to be part of it. Never that. Never. It's the complete mistake. But we will come to that a bit later. Allow me to go there and do that. It's a creative and effective communication strategy, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay. It sounds like a fairy tale. You know this slogan, phrase, whatever, medium is the message. Have you heard of it? It used to be very famous. It's still on, but it's not updated anymore. It's not. Once upon a time, this happened in 1964 by Mr. McLuhan. It was part of the first chapter of his book, Understanding Media, the Extensions of Man. But some years later, the one and only and great Guy Debord came with his essay, Society of Spectacle. It's a very, very, very important book. One of the very important books of the 20th century. We are still living in that era, more or less. McLuhan predicted the MME, the mass media empire. Debord described a society where the spectacle is everything. It's what we experience now. It's what we started experiencing back in early 90s, I think, with the first Gulf War. If you remember, the first Gulf War was the first live broadcasted war with music. There were jingles, letters, titles like a Star Wars film or something. Live, now, CNN, action, war, the music. So suddenly, you could sit on your sofa, take some popcorn, drink some beer, and watch death. Wow. It is not happening to me. It's somewhere there. The era of the spectacle, which changes gradually and actually rapidly the way we think, the way we see, the way we judge, or the way we don't judge. Everything is a noise spectacle. We all watch it every day while sitting on our comfy sofas zapping for news. How on earth do we create a successful and effective communication strategy in this environment? You remember Pink Floyd? Is there anybody out there, out there, out there? Nobody or everybody. But they are all we are all in that kind of mode. Enough, enough, enough of noise. So, noise is noise. It doesn't carry any form of message. It's just noise. And it's a synthesis of a clutter. Lots of things, and almost all the very same. Try it in a very, very simple way. I mean, zap your TV, if you're still watching TV, at 9 o'clock when all channels have news. You're changing channels, but it's still one channel. I mean, they're all the same. You need to go there and search to find news. What's news? It's a clear objective that reflects truth. So how do we communicate? How do we create an effective communication strategy? It's the very same thing with how we create an effective creative strategy, as we say in my work, advertising and communication. Thus, it's not a lone wolf job, work. You're not sitting in a corner on your own thinking how to create an effective communication strategy. You come down with your colleagues, brainstorming, and brainstorming, and brainstorming. And there is one golden rule in brainstormings. There is nothing wrong to say. There's not a stupid statement. Everything is useful. We are never judgmental in brainstormings. If someone tells you, oh, come on, this is stupid, out. This person does not belong in a team which works creatively with a purpose to communicate. You cannot be judgmental, because everything is very, very useful, even if it's a mistake. But the mistake that falls on a table creates a reaction to someone else, and this reaction could be the solution. Clearly define your communication objective. What do we want to achieve? Many different things. To inform, to persuade, to educate, to entertain. Sometimes it's all together. But we need to be very, very, very specific. We need to know what we are trying to do. Understand your target audience, behaviors, tailor-made message. That requires something else, which is a different subject. It requires research. It requires, how we say it? Surveys. Public opinion surveys. You need to realize to whom you are talking. You need to know. It's exactly the same thing as we do in commercial advertising, in commercial communication. With a good research, we can sketch our audience. We can see them. We can understand their tastes, the way they communicate, the vocabulary they use, everything. So we can adjust our language and our aesthetics in a way they will communicate with our meanings, with our messages. Simple language, clear and concise message. It's all we said before. Make sure your audience can easily grasp your main points. Consistency. Yeah, you have to be consistent, but not repeating yourself. Variations of a theme. Remember good old Ludwig? Pa-pa-pa-pam. Pa-pa-pa-pam. Pa-ta-pa-ta-ta-ta-pa-ta-ta-ta-pa-ta-pa-ta-pa-ta-pa-ta-pam. Pam, pum. Pa-pa-pa-pa. Pa-pa-pa-pa. For 42, 43 minutes, it's a massive variation of these three, pa, 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 4 incredible notes. The knock on the door, as an urban urban story says that it was someone who knocked Ludwig's door, and because he was half deaf already, he didn't realize what the sound was, but consistency with variations. A theme with many variations. Dialogues on a theme. Think music. When we need to communicate with a broad audience, we need to think music. We need to think as musicians. Everything is music, because music has no words. So it communicates with everything, under all circumstances, and with every kind of an audience. If the message is honest, if the message carries values, and you think through the music mechanism, you will succeed, no matter how modern, bold, radical, conservative, or whatever is the message you want to transmit. I'll go back for a second again in music. Many years ago, many years ago, because before the Iranian Revolution, the one and only Yannis Xenakis, great French-Greek contemporary composer, not in life anymore, created an amazing composition, and the name of that composition was Persepolis, and it was dedicated to ancient Persepolis. The city was set in fire, in flames, from Alexander the Great. Believe it or not, the concert was performed in ancient Persepolis. Thousands of people went there to listen and see, because it was a spectacular, lights and lasers and music, etc. And the emotion that was created from this very contemporary atonal, no melody, music in people from villages was amazing. They were crying. They were mourning for the bitter destiny of their own people thousands and thousands of years ago. The message was clear. The message was not simple, but very honest. And it communicated with each one of them. Xenakis later gave an interview in Le Figaro, I think, and he was amazed because when the lights were on after the concert, he saw a huge crowd of people from villages crying, being in tears. They had communicated with a very, 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 very modern, extremely modern atonal piece of music, but it created a contact, it communicated their own history, which is written, typed, planted, seeded, whatever, in their own DNA. What this consistence creates trust. Trust. That's what they did with Xenakis' music. They trusted him. Because his music was honest and connected. The channel then was music. Okay, we need to select our communication channels that best reach your target audience. This could include social media, email, print, in-person events, or a combination of these. Usually, it's a combination of all these. Timing. There are plenty of surveys, there are plenty of researchers, there are plenty of media tools. Timing, it's not only how often, it's also when. It's also what time of the day you post a message, if we are talking about social media. Even in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, we have prime time, we have less interesting timing. I remember some years ago, I used to send articles to newspapers, and my friend Dimitris Dimitriou, who has the Cyprus News thingy, was insisting that he had to publish it, to post it, Friday evening, 20 to 7. I couldn't understand why. Well, he explained. And he was very, very, very clear and honest. I mean, it was the time that, for some reasons, everyone those days was in his computer, in each one computer, looking for news, looking for gossip, looking for whatever. So we had an audience there. Timing is crucial on delivering the right message at the right time, but this leads back to what we said before. It's not only the right time and the right message, it's the right audience. You need to know your audience. We need to know our target. We need to know our target group. Of course, when it comes to governments and state agencies, etc., usually the audience is everyone. But when it comes to everyone, that means that you have to divide this huge crowd into smaller groups with criterion like age, like education, and all the subgroups we have in research. And still, the key, if we talk for social media, is the content, which we will see later. The content. The content in a matter of how and when. And how is very important. I mean, how do you speak? How do you talk? How do you write? Are you an authority? No, look, my fellow citizens, you have to do this and that. No. You've lost them, just like that. Encourage feedback and interaction. Listen to your audience and be prepared to adjust your strategy based on their responses and needs. Visuals. Visuals. The society of the spectacle. It's there. We cannot ignore it. The society of the spectacle, after all, it's still there, though content is gaining space gradually again. But we cannot ignore the spectacle, the colors, the visuals, the everything. And authenticity. In the very, very, very beginning of this boring blah blah I'm doing here, I said something about the truth of the message. And I also said something about the noise which is around our head nowadays. Noise, noise, noise. Adding many voices together, just like that, that's something like recording from different microphones, different voices, broadcasting them, transmitting them from the many, many, many loudspeakers at the same very second. This creates a desire from the audience. Every one of us need to hear something clear. Oh my God, this is real, a real thing. It carries real emotion. It doesn't matter if it's sad or happy or whatever, but it's real. It's true. It's not plastic. People had enough of plastic messages, especially from governments and government institutions, especially here in Cyprus, where all these institutions address the public in a language, I don't know if xylini glossa, if wooden language exists as a phrase in English. I honestly don't know. Do you know? It doesn't. They address the public like, you know, talking between them together, in the way that they write orders to the employees or to whatever. They're doing that. That's what they do. Or they ignore the public. They never respond. So for the public, after a while, they do not exist. Simply. Truth is the best message. That's why we all prefer this little body instead of, okay, that plastic ducky is fine for my bathtub, all right. But truth is always better. And when you carry responsibilities as a government, as a ministry, as a whatever, you need to speak not the plastic, but the bloody truth. No matter if it's good, positive, negative, sad, happy, whatever. Speak the truth in a way that this truth will be understood. But we already talked about that. Two principles. Test and measure. All the time. Non-stop mission. Continuously assess the effectiveness on your strategy. You have a strategy. Check it. Metrics, analytics. Track the impact of your messages. Be willing to adjust your strategy based on the results. Look, if after a month a campaign is not 100% successful the way you thought it would be, it doesn't mean that something went very wrong. Well, a bit wrong, yeah, okay. But from the moment, from this very special moment when the team in the brainstorming created an idea to communicate and the content until the moment that this campaign, this message, went to the public, many things have changed in life. This is why many times in the old days, researchers needed a long time to take the questionnaires, study them, calculate the conclusions, and deliver the result to the agency which ordered this research. Months. So the research started in October. It wanted winter taste results, but the researchers finally brought the results in August, when everyone was melting from the bloody heat. Things happen, things are changing. So if after a while the results are not there the way we want them, be willing to adjust your strategy based on these new results. And sometimes these new results lead to a crisis communication. Develop a plan for handling crisis and unexpected situations. Being prepared to respond to negative events is crucially for maintaining the trust you gained before. Well, all right, this is just a sketch how things go round and round and round and round. And believe me, handling a crisis and crisis management is a very important topic which requires not a special workshop, but a special week dedicated to this thing, because it can destroy individuals, groups, societies, countries, administrations, everything. A huge crisis can destroy everything. A wise crisis management can save even lives. Never forget, an effective communication is something that never, but never stops. It's an ongoing process, just like music. It flows, it varies. Things come that we didn't hear 3 minutes ago, but new instruments are coming in. Ongoing process. And they all lead to a climax, which is the message. It's not a one-time effort, but a continuous conversation. And here, this is the important word, conversation. You're not there to talk to someone. You're there to say some things and then listen. By following these principles and staying flexible, we can develop a communication strategy that resonates with our audience and helps everyone to meet the objectives. How about this? Animals are not clowns. It's loud, clear, clean, dramatic, and effective. It works. I give an emphasis to the word "it works" because sometimes drama, exaggeration, or exhibiting the problem is not working. You are public servants, from what I understand. Fancy that. Some 15 years ago, countries like Greece, Portugal, Spain, where they suffer from fires every summer, they gave lots of money to do campaigns from television, etc. In the early days, they used to film fires. And you were sitting on your sofa watching the fire, the dramatic fire on a forest, music, boom, 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 a voice talking in a very hypnotic, "This is a crime. We should never allow this. Burning a forest kills our life. Do something now." Meanwhile, you see the fire there, the forest burning, the black woods here and there, but it doesn't work. And not only doesn't work because it brings everyone with something very, 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 very uncomfortable, but it also triggers the one who is ready to go and set a fire. Seeing the fire, if I am a fire maniac, yes, I'm ready to go. I love it. It's the same with the pedophiles, and it's the same with many, many, many different segments of crime. We need to be creative, we need to be tough, we need to be honest, but we do not want, and we must never satisfy the narcissism of these criminals. Their narcissism is to see the fire, or to see the child suffering, or to see the woman beaten on the floor. Yeah, they feel, I want to do the same. Yeah, you trigger them. This is good. This is interesting. He has his mother's eyes. His mom was victim of domestic violence. Also good. This is brilliant, in my opinion, of course. They have painted everything. This is a painting, and it recreates the background. You have the, well, just imagine Palestine now. This is what is happening, more or less. It's not happening here, but it's happening now. It's good. I don't know how strong it works. And this photograph may shock you, but it talks only to you. And to people, to healthy people. I'm afraid that this photograph could be intriguing for someone who hides a pedophile in his whatever he is. Actually, I found this campaign yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I haven't decided yet if I'm negative or positive, if it's on the right path or not. What do you think?
It's a campaign for what? That is against...
Certain things hang on forever. When you see it from a distance, you think that this girl wears
a dress of a woman.
Yes. When you go near and see, you'll see its hands.
Yes.
Hands. So it's a balance between domestic violence, pedophilia, and everything. I'm afraid, but I might be wrong. Definitely I might be wrong. Usually I'm wrong. That it triggers the pedophile. I'm not sure, though. I'm telling you, I saw this one 2 days ago, and I said, I'll add it in, and we'll talk. What do you think, guys? Tell me.
Is it not the pedophile's main goal? It's not the pedophile's main goal to terrify Thank you. If there is a message that it would last forever, maybe it could satisfy him.
It's very clear. Certain things hang on forever. If the trauma is there now, it will stay there forever. A child after such an experience will never truly recover. That's what the message is. But I am never sure if it works. And okay, it may be okay for the writer, because okay, we found a phrase to say the thing. Certain things hang on forever, but still, I still have the problem. Does it work? Yes?
Provoke
Yeah.
pedophile.
I think the use of the child in this message wasn't appropriate, especially when it comes to dealing with the subject of pedophile. And it being exposed on that poster and conveying this message, I don't think it works, because it could also be triggering for someone.
Yeah, that's what I feel too.
And yeah, I'm not a big fan of this.
Okay.
It's also the posture of the child. She's not crying. It's a little bit like a model, standing there.
Well, that's on purpose.
That's on purpose.
That's
yes.
on purpose,
But
definitely.
That's why a pedophile may be provoked and triggered.
Yes, yes. The gentleman there was...
They should have worked more on the face. And they should have worked more on the face and the expression of the child. The way it is right now, it's confusing and it's not conveying the messages they were supposed to convey. So that's maybe something that it's off, way off.
Yeah, that's a different aspect, but even if they had work more with the face and the expression, still the concept is the very same. And I don't have a problem with the expression or whatever, that's not the cause. The concept is the cause. The way you approach a problem and the way you're trying to communicate the disaster or whatever. So, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Actually, what I wanted to say is that for me it's not clear what the message is or what the audience is. What is targeting, I mean, because usually when you want to refer to this subject, you have a message like to be alert the surroundings or to notify, or to the children, if you're experiencing this, there is a way to help you. When I see this, I don't understand what the audience is or what the message is. Because for me, I know it exists, it says certain things hang forever, but what do you want to tell me? I mean, this is the reality, and by showing me the reality, you're not telling me what to do, if you know what I mean. I don't understand the audience, what we said
totally
at the beginning.
agree. I totally agree with you, and thank you for making it so clear, because this is exactly what is the problem here. It satisfies only the, if I can call it so, narcissism of the creative department of that agency, but it doesn't lead to any form of solution or a response to what is happening. What we need is practical ways to react. We need guidelines, what to do, where to call, things like that. This is, I'm sorry, rubbish. And it's not only rubbish, it's probably dangerous. Okay.
So maybe you will answer on my question on next slide, I hope, but what is your suggestion? How would you do it better, that this advertising?
In that matter?
Yeah, in this topic.
I would do a completely different campaign, focusing on silence, how crucial is to open mouths of people, how crucial is for kids to talk if something is happening, and give specific guidelines πώς το λένε, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rules, things to do, where to call, where to appeal, where to do this, where to do that. Practical things. New mannerism, new, different culture to approach things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. That's what it takes. It takes only 4 minutes to protect a kid. Let's say 30 seconds for each telephone. That makes it 4 minutes. I would do something like that. I would do a campaign out of calculation with very, very practical and simple things for everyone to understand. And instead of giving a huge amount of money in creating a photo session in a studio and buying pages in newspapers or magazines or whatever, I would suggest that to create a team of 10 people or 15 people, and they would go everywhere in neighbors, in suburbs, in schools, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, of course with a campaign, but I would spread the message everywhere. Practically speaking, not... This is... It's a big trap. When we work for communication, advertising, whatever, I have experienced that many times. You know, locked in a conference room, and suddenly we have the idea, we think it's the idea, and we love it so much, and we love ourselves so much. Oh, we're geniuses. Yeah, all right. And then we do the film, and we call all the colleagues in the conference room. Guys, we did it. Watch it. Oh, yeah, bravo, blah, blah, blah. Everyone loves it. We are so happy. We are extremely happy. The idea was brilliant. The film was fantastic. The film director was next to Stanley Kubrick, whatever. And then that thing goes on TV, and no one notices. See, we are locked in our own narcissism. Creating an effective communication strategy is all these things we said, but never go and hide yourself in a corner on your own, trying to create a communicating strategy. It doesn't work. You need to play with your colleagues, exchange ideas, and sculpture the idea step by step. Sculpture is the nice word, because you get rid of all the useless material. And when you feel happy, we have it. Leave it there. Forget about it. Go out with friends, hang around, drink wine, beers, go drunk, faint on your bed afterwards, and next morning, go and see it again. If you're still happy, then you've got it. If doubts come, rise, maybe you need to do a little more research. But there is something that only time and experience can give you. Know, and it's the same thing both for creative strategy and for communication strategies. Know where to stop. Because many, many times we carry on working, we carry on sculpturing, and in the end, the statue is gone. By sculpturing all the time, the idea dies. So we need to know where to stop. There's no way to teach someone about when to stop. No. Only experience will give you that. please feel free to ask me anything. I may have a reply, I may not. All right. So there's nothing. So it's either I was not very bad or I was terrible. Thank you. See you in a while.
Καλημέρα και από μένα. Είμαι ο Μιχάλης Ομπέης, ο εθνικός συντονιστής του EMN Κύπρου. Επειδή ξεκινήσαμε έτσι λίγο διαφορετικά, δεν είχα την ευκαιρία να σας χαιρετήσω, να σας καλημερίσω, να σας ευχαριστήσω που είστε σήμερα μαζί μας. Θα κάνουμε μισή ώρα διάλειμμα για καφέ. Είναι απέναντι στην αίθουσα, όπως θα βγείτε, θα περάσετε απέναντι, θα στύψετε αριστερά, είναι η αίθουσα του πρωινού. Έχει καφέ, αν θέλετε να σερβιριστείτε, έχουμε και τα γλυκά, οτιδήποτε. Αν θέλετε να σερβιριστείτε και από το πρωινό, δεν υπάρχει κανένα πρόβλημα. Θα επιστρέψουμε 11 η ώρα με το δεύτερο μέρος. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Thank you very much.